Hello, it's Ryan Tank 1400, and today I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck that I finally made it to Masters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Now, that might not be too impressive for some people, but for me, it was an accomplishment. But on top of that, I usually play more casual deck because I tend to avoid meta for like a lot of reasons. And if you're one of those people who are kind of like me, who kind of got sick of Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess it's because all the really flaws with the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, with the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. The competitive Yu-Gi-Oh has a lot of flaws. To me personally, like Yu-Gi-Oh as a game is by far my favorite game. And I play a lot of different board games. Well, it's not my favorite video game, but when it comes to board and card games, it's my favorite board and card game. I play a lot of different board and card games, and it's by far my favorite. But when you get into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, it is one of my least favorite games, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't dig down into it, but there's a lot of non-games that happens because Combos are one card combos are literally the worst thing that's ever happened in Yu-Gi-Oh! By far. But also like there's a whole thing with hand traps. One hand trap can stop a casual deck from doing anything. And honestly, one card combo deck for one more combo deck to just like beat your opponent in one turn is like it's my least favorite by far of all that stuff. I would much rather deal with stun than deal with than watching someone play solitaire with themselves for like 10, 15 minutes. At some point, you're just wasting someone else's time. But anyway, if you're one of those people who like are kind of fed up with that kind of side of Yu-Gi-Oh, or you're kind of to the point where you go into Master Duel and you go second if you don't have like Max C or a hand trap or something, you instantly scoop or something like that. This deck is actually for you. This deck will help you enjoy the game going first and going second. Well, as you can see, it's a hand trap deck. If you look, one of the first things you'll notice if you know about this kind of deck, the kind of Bystial control hand trap deck, is that usually it has Fiend Smith. Instead, I'm using DPE, and there are reasons for that. Fiend Smith is not just better in all aspects of DPE. Now, when it comes to like how many interruptions it has and how powerful it is, Fiend Smith is 100% better than DPE, and Fiend Smith is harder to stop. And that being said, DPE, like with Anaconda and stuff, has its advantages over the first one is that it's extra desk space. You can fit a lot more stuff, including two S2s, which came up so often I considered adding a third, and two Amarages, and even had a Artemis in there as well for the Witch of the Black Forest. We'll get more into that later. But my point is that that's one of the huge advantages is that extra deck space and even main deck space. If you look, I only had to add 3 cards. Now these 3 cards are bricks. Well, 2 of them are really hard bricks. The third one isn't. The fusion card isn't that bad to draw. In fact, I want to run 3 of them. I don't. And the main reason is I just want to have more hand traps in my deck. And that's kind of the big advantage of this deck. First or second, you're still going to be able to like play the game. I played this deck a lot, and it was very few times that with all the Bystials and with all the hand traps that I was unable to play when I was going second. There are a few times if you face a deck like Mermail or a Crystron or like some other deck that doesn't have any lights or darks, and you don't have a hand trap to put in the grave at the light and dark, and you just have all Bystials in your hand, yeah, that can be rough. But in the vast majority of games, more so than any other deck, going first and going second, I was actually able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And play the game. Yeah, I stopped my opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of the time, stopping combos and stuff like that. And there was a lot of good back and forth games you can play with this deck. And since it has a lot of hand trap, Max C is like 100% the card you want to search. Well, not all the time. There are times when you're in a grindy state and you might draw Sangan or something. Normal summon it, put in the graveyard, and you might search Ass Possum or Ghost Ogre depending on like what you're facing. And you're like in that grindy state where it's probably all you have to do is stop your opponent once or twice, and they're probably not going to be able to like just go crazy. In those cases, you don't get Max C, of course. But Max C is an interesting card because like almost everyone hates it, and I understand the high. And in fact, this deck is the first time I've used Max C. I had a craft it for this deck. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel for years, and the reason I do that is because I don't like to put anything in my deck that's unfair. I don't like to when I build my deck, I actually think about my opponent enjoying the game too, because generally speaking, I want to have like a good back and forth with my opponent. I want my opponent to enjoy the game as much as I do. whoever has max C, it generally prevents the opponent from actually enjoying the game. But I don't think that can be I don't think that necessarily has to be the case. Max C has one fatal flaw to it, and that it can be activated after the opponent does a huge combo. In that case, like, yeah, the multi-combos are much more balanced cards for sure. But the fact that your opponent can just do that, do some crazy 5, 10, 20-minute combo or whatever it is, and create this unbreakable board, they're just playing solitaire. It is the most outrageous thing to play. It's like, why did I even sit down at the table? Why am I even playing this game? It's just like, just go play solitaire. Just honestly, just go play solitaire. And I get like coming up with combos and stuff like that. And that's something I do that with more casual decks. I will try to come up with combos that's never been thought of before and stuff like that. And that can be actually really fun doing it. But if the goal of that combo is to create a board that my opponent doesn't get to resolve a single card, then you're just playing solitaire. You're just playing the game by yourself, and you're basically just hoping to win the coin flip. And this is the frustrating thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is why I've been driven to play Max C, to play these hand traps. And Max C, what I learned about it is that the really good players know how to play around Max C and when they should play into Max C and when they should pass in half board and stuff like that. I'm just gonna be honest, like the decks that are just wombo combo that you need to kind of play in the maxi, all those the one card combos should just be banned. It's that bad. And I'm gonna go as far as to say one card combo in these meta decks going first is more powerful than maxi. Yeah, they are going first. Now, see, even going first is still an insanely powerful card in one overall. And going second is the most powerful card. I will guarantee you that going first, rather than Maxi, they would rather see with like Snake Eye Ash and like going second. They want to go Maxi. Now that kind of brings me to the other card, the cards that counter Maxi, or the cards that counter Hand Trap, Called by the Grave, called Designator, Going Lockbird, Ash Blossom. All these cards should be banned. There's no reason to help out going first in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's just no reason for it. Going first in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is way too powerful. It brings me to this deck, right? It's a deck that is more powerful going first because you kind of set up DPE, you get to search your Max C, or if you already have Max C, you search Ash Blossom, probably, if you have Ash Blossom, probably Ghost Ogre or Bell or something. And that's kind of the point of this deck, is that you use Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest, which is Black Forest, it's just extra copy of Sangan to go into it. And kind of the reason for the multi-Sangan and the Witch of the Black Forest is because any one of those and one any Bystial, get you into DPE. The way you win games, you need to get DPE running, or you need to get Branded Regain running. You get like Branded Regain and DPE running, you're almost always going to win that game. But you need kind of one or the other, and you need to have your hand traps delay your opponent long enough until you can get one of those running. If you're running 2 SP, there are so many games where I summon both. I consider running 3 SPs. That doesn't happen too often where I need 3 SPs, but there was like a couple games that would have helped to have the third. But you can recycle it with regain, and so that does help. But having 2 in this deck is 100% necessary. Having 2 Amaraja is 100% necessary. The Artemis is only there for the Witch of Black Forest. If you want to take out the Witch of Black Forest, you take out the Artemis, and you might even add a third Amaraj, and different things you can do with the extra deck and stuff like that. My overall feel with this deck, it's like I said, if you're just sick and tired of like combos, like I am, like I'm well over like waiting on combos and all that BS. To be clear, I went from playing a deck that didn't play any hand traps to playing a Bystial control like Rose Riding deck that I came up with. It had just like, it only had Bystials, Ghost Ogre, and Fact Veiler. It didn't even have Ash. And then I went from that to playing this deck because I just so sick of combo deck. When the second against combo and not being able to play the game. I just got so sick of it. But this deck allows you to play the game, and I had a lot of fun with it. And there's a lot of nuance to it too. And to be clear, I do think Max C should be banned, but I think they need to rein in the combo with that. I think they need to ban a bunch of the one-turn combo. They're so bad. They're so unenjoyable to play against. Like there's a point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the way you get better is you have to learn other decks by actually like going in and reading other cards and kind of learning their combos as well. And Like I spend a lot of time with Yu-Gi-Oh. I spend a lot of time like reading a bunch of cards. Like I play a lot of like I try to come up with a lot of casual decks, a lot of casual like a lot of combo lines for casual decks and stuff like that. 'Cause I like to deck I like to design my deck and I don't like to base them off of others. And I know what meta decks I would just like have the best version of that deck is already decided. Like my favorite thing to do is kind of design a deck. I've read like every normal trap like 3 times, or like coming up with trap cards for trap deck and stuff like that. I have read every quick play spell. I will go in and if there's a certain type or attribute of a monster, or there's like synchro or a certain like a rank 4 or whatever, I will go in and read every single one of those. And there's ways to like shorten it. Like if you're looking for a specific niche, or if you're looking for a monster, a synchro monster that has an effect on the special summon because you want to do it on your opponent's turn, and type in that praise and restriction, shorten it and stuff like that. But that's the kind of thing I like to do. I like to come up with stuff that no one's ever come up with before. And you can't do that with Magic. Or it's like extremely rare that you actually come up with something that is that is a meta contender that hasn't been thought of before. It's extremely rare. It's like so like I said, I don't even try because I actually enjoy deck design over playing. I enjoy playing the game really too, and that's kind of why I'm more like I don't get into competitive music. But on Master Duel, you kind of don't have a choice. People are going to be playing meta, even in and it's frustrating because even in like silver and gold ranks, which not so much silver, the silver's like silver's free to get out of. Gold is kind of free to get out of too, but it just takes longer. But if you're playing some casual deck, it literally does not matter. You could play out of your mind, and the opponent can just misplay after misplay after misplay, and unless they completely fumble the bag, they're gonna win against you like 99% of the time. They just need to activate that one card, and like that's frustrating. So I think like in Master Duel at least from now on, I'm only gonna play decks that can activate cards going second. Basically activate cards and turning 0, like this hand trap deck. And I want a deck that has a lot of those cards in it, not just a few. Because to me, Yu-Gi-Oh is just not fun, and you don't get to play the game. It's just that simple. Like if you don't get to play the game, Yu-Gi-Oh is not fun. Master Duel is becoming more and more competitive, and I've noticed this over the years. There's decks I've played like that I would think that I would have an extremely hard time to get to the same rank I did before, even though I'm a better Yu-Gi-Oh player. And it has nothing to do with, like I said, it has nothing to do with the skill. It just has everything to do with the power level of Yu-Gi-Oh getting so much higher. Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel itself is so much more competitive. It's heading more and more towards the competitive side instead of the casual side. Of course, the solution for this is to literally create different rank modes that are more casual in nature. Another thing I think they should do is if you ever played Master Duel, there is a huge spike in difficulty between gold and platinum. Gold is free. Getting into platinum, I think it's free. I don't think I've ever lost a level in gold. I don't even know if you're allowed to. But I played there's this one deck I played. It was a zombie deck. It lost to one effect failure or infernal ash. Like it could not do its combo, and I got into platinum by losing way more games than winning. Which like leads me to this. It's like I think they should have more ranks, and I think the ranks should be a lot harder to level up, and there shouldn't be this huge spike once you get to platinum. It's like you can actually lose levels with platinum if you lose like a few games in a row, 4 games in a row or whatever it is, you lose a level. Because there's like there ends up being so many people in like platinum 5 with a entirely different like huge range of decks, and they stay in platinum 5 because you can't go down to gold once you're in platinum. They might go into like flat 4, and then they go into flat 4. This is happening with some casual deck. They go to flat 4, and then I just keep losing, and I go back down to flat 5, and he's like keep winning, and there's like the scaling for Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just way off. It's just like their ranking system is like broken. It's completely broken at the mid tier ranks. Like you can argue like the master rank and the diamond rank is correct, and I think it is. But to me, it gets kind of hard in diamond 3 when I play higher rogue decks, if you will, like the more powerful rogue deck. Like this deck, for instance, it kind of got hard on diamond 3, which from my skill level, that's what I would expect. But it's like It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Its ranking is like I said, it's broken. And like I kind of know why they do it. They make the easier ranks easier so that the more casual players can easily get their gems and just move on. Here's what I think. They can solve this by a few ways. One, they can actually give gems for just playing the game, for completing a game. Not like if you scoop, maybe you don't get the gems or something like that, or maybe you get half the gems, because there would be a way to abuse that. Maybe if you scoop turn 1 or turn 2, you don't get any gems, but after that, you'll get gems basically. You'll get like 100 gems per game you play, and that way they can just make the rank harder. They should make rookie, bronze, silver, gold harder. I think platinum's fine the way it is. Maybe they make platinum a little bit harder so they can make gold harder. They can make gold what platinum is now. I honestly think it should mean something to get to gold. Whereas getting the platinum doesn't even mean it. Like, in New World Master Duel, it is, you can get there just with casual deck. I think it should be difficult to get to gold. My point is, I just wanted to show you this deck. Pretty simple, what it's trying to do. It has a huge skill gap, I think. That's what I really like about this deck. It's like knowing when to hand trap, when you use a disruption, just kind of teaches you that kind of stuff. In summary, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very game, but it has a huge going first problem. It's huge. To the point that if you go second in Yu-Gi-Oh!, it tends not to even be fun. And it has a huge issue with non-games. And by the way, I feel the same way. If I go first and I just put up this like unbreakable board, I'm not having fun. Yeah, I win the game, but I did not have fun. My opponent did not have fun. I just don't think it's enjoyable to do that. I just think, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a huge going first problem. And though, like, I don't like hand traps. Hand traps are like a band-aid on the issue. I honestly think what they should do, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just needs to they need to stop dragging their feet. And I think they need to stop like creating new archetypes. I think they just need to create new cards for every single old archetype that can be activated turn 0. That does something turn 0. That's also engine in the deck. And maybe they could have it like, oh, it requires another card in the same activate in your hand to activate from your hand, or something like that, to force people to play the same archetype instead of just piles of crap. I think like 90% of the cards printed from here on out, Konami just needs to make it so that they can deactivate turn 0. Given restrictions and stuff like that, and I know it's like the direction you're going in, but they're doing it at a slow pace. And the reason they're doing it at a slow pace is because they want to sell cards over time. If they do it all at once, they're gonna have a Yugioh tier limits issue. And the reason Yugioh tier limit was bad was because it was the only deck that could do that. If they printed another deck that could actually activate all their cards turn 0, it could actually compete with Yugioh tier limits. Well, depending on the power level of that, but it could probably compete with it. And that's why I say you have a bunch of old archetypes, just print a bunch of cards, 3 or 4 cards for each archetype, I would say, if not more, that can be activated turn 0. Like I said, in summary, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a bad game competitively, but it is my favorite game casually setting because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is becoming more and more competitive as time goes on, to the point that the people that are like you can always enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually. But to the people that don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, but don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Super casually either, they're like somewhere in between. They just don't have a place for it. But hopefully this deck, for those people, I do think if you enjoy this style of deck and you're kind of the same place I am, you will still enjoy it. You will enjoy a lot more games with this than you play any of those other decks, in my opinion. At least I was. That's kind of the whole point of this. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.